Hey folks, so here we go. We're going to do our small 8-ounce cups here again. I don't really know if we're going to need the full amount, but again, like yesterday, it's better to have a little bit too much than not enough, because you can always come back and mix up another batch and go again. So I pre-warmed our epoxy resin and our hardener again, and this is actually working out very well for me. So what I've been doing is just in a bucket of hot water, right at the tap basically, and then you just stick the containers right in the bucket. And I brought the, I think the resin came up with 25 Celsius, and the hardener itself is close to 30 Celsius. So it brings us up above room temperature. Again, I do keep the shop at 20 degrees Celsius, but they're also stored on outside walls. It's cold up here, it's winter, right? So it's going to be a little bit chillier than the actual air temperature. And the closer you can get the air temperature, or a little bit warmer, it's going to help everything that's inside of here start mixing together better and start building heat better for a better cure. As you saw with the other two layups that we did, that stuff was solid. So very happy about that. So here we go. We're going to be using our cabosil again, and then this is our 1/4-inch chopped fibers, and again, same company here, Fasco, and we're going to be adding this in as well. So we're, again, same thing as yesterday. We're going to pour our 5 parts into a cup. We're going to pour our 1 part hardener into the other cup. We're going to mix in our cabosil. We're going to get pretty close to where we were yesterday, same consistency. We're going to add some fibers in there, and then when we're happy with the way everything's taking shape, we are going to go over there and layer up. So the hull's been wiped down again completely with our alcohol, so we're all cleaned up, ready to roll, so that when this is mixed, we're good to go over and start spreading it out. Now for spreading our epoxy mix out, I'm just going to be laying it up basically with our popsicle stick again. We're just going to get the stick on there, and then I'm just going to use basically a disposable plastic spreader, and we're just going to make it as smooth as we can. We don't want to be too much today. We want to bring it out level or just before level, so that our final filler will, or fairing compound will take up the rest of whatever we need to build. The reason for that is this layer is going to be more difficult to sand than the layer that we laid up yesterday because of the chopped fibers. So unless, again, you really like the sand, you got to keep that in mind. So anyways, I'm going to get to work here, and we're going to start mixing some stuff up. And then the other advantage of having everything nice and warm, it pours so much easier. It's just nicer to work with. Alright, so I'm going to mask up here again, and we're going to get to work mixing.
Alright, so I'm going to start adding some of these here now. And we're just going to take it easy. And I'm not going to do a heaping spoon this time, I'm just going to do level. Just going to add a little bit more, maybe half a teaspoon. No, not even. I'm going to do a quarter of a teaspoon. And we're going to do a little bit more cabosil here because it's not where I want it to be. Okay, so I'm happy with that to start. I left my partner a little bit runnier today, not as thick, so we may have to adjust once we mix the two together. Just gotta grab a big cup and away we go. So we're just gonna use our big 32 ounce here now. So just remember, once you add this, you're on the clock. Well, that's all right. I want it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to put some more cabosil in here again. Another teaspoon, I think, will bring me right where I want to be. One more. There we go.
So that's exactly what I'm looking for right there. I'll reposition and then we'll get set up here to put this on the boat. So here we go here, folks. And same as before, we're just gonna lay this up. We're gonna get our product on there, thinned out. That way we have more of a working time with it. And then we can spread it as needed at that point. Okay, that gets us close to where we need to be here. I'm gonna grab our spreader and see what we can do. And just light pressure on this. Again, not rocket science, right? Just try to keep it within your boundaries. Just remember, this doesn't have to get perfect. You want to get it close, but you're far from being in the last step here right now. So as much as you want the project just to be over, time is definitely a big part of this, right? So you don't want to go thick up to your line, right? Your line is where you kind of want to thin it out to. That's kind of like your max working space. And it's important to try to pay attention to where you need it to put more of your filler, right? Prior to laying this up. And for me, I know that right about center of all this was kind of a big void that we needed to fill. And again, the nice thing about this is that to some degree, this is self-leveling. Okay folks, we're back at that point where if you play with it too much, it starts playing mind games on you. So again, I gotta monitor this until this does kick off relatively good, just so we don't have any sagging and the material doesn't warp its way down to here and then we have a whole bunch of sanding to do. I got a little bit left here, and I mean we used up pretty much what we mixed, which worked out great again. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the back corner where we had dremeled that little hole, and I had it all cleaned out and that. I don't know what was all in there, but we're going to try it again. And So next time we come back here, we'll be mixing up just our epoxy and cabosil fairing mixture basically, just for some of these smaller little areas around here and then some at the front. And after that, we're going to get into doing up just fairing here on the bottom where there's some lighter damage. So other than that, we'll see you on the next step, and that'll be after this is pretty much kicked and starts to stiffen up on me. All right, so still setting up over here with our first batch that we did with the chopped fibers. And it's been, let's see here, it's been probably a good half hour, maybe even 45 minutes here so far, and it's getting really gooey. It's setting up really good over there, so I'm happy about that. What I decided to do though is that I pre-mixed hardener and pre-mixed some resin. Again, with the same mixture that we did the first time. What we're going to do with that is I'm going to actually hot coat that side, just because I did notice I have a little bit of a bowl on the bottom side of it, and I don't want to have to wait till it dries and then come back, sand it, and then reapply. So I'm actually going to hot coat it, just waiting for it to set up here right now. What I am mixing up right now though, while I'm waiting for all this to happen, is another batch, but we're going to make up some fairing compound right now, and we're going to use some white glass microspheres. So what this does is it's a filler, but it also helps break everything up in a sense that it makes it a lot easier to sand. Still excellent strength and everything else, but it just helps with the ability to sand. And all we're putting this stuff in is going to be places where we're just through the paint layer and into the hull that we need to build up a little bit. So I just want that added little bit of the strength, and then if need be after the fact, we'll come back in with a total boat fairing compound and fairing any imperfections and anything like that. But I just want to, being that these hulls are notoriously thin, I want to have as much strength as possible. The fairing compound's not going to add any strength. It is epoxy based. I mean, maybe it does something, but you definitely want to be on the safe side of things, right? So I already have my cabosil mixed in here. I want to thicken this up. So right now I'm going to add in my microspheres here. Going to see what kind of concoction we can come up with this time around, and see how this works. So this stuff here is just like a powder basically, and if you ever use like the West System mixer, very similar. So anyways, here goes. So that has smoothed that out, and it's hard to really, for me to say and to explain how this is, but you notice it right away. It'd be almost like creating white glue. If you ever made homemade white glue, that's kind of where we're at here right now. So I'm going to add a little bit more cabosil to this now to thicken this back up. I'm happy with that consistency with the microspheres. So I'm going to add some more cabosil to this. I'm going to do the same thing with our hardener. Mix the two together. Then we'll get to work laying this up. Okay, just had to grab another big cup here, so we're gonna get to pouring our resin here into there. You can see how that's pouring out. It's pretty runny, but it's really airy. Now this is probably going to be more than what I need, but this is the smallest possible batch that I can make, which is about 4 ounces in volume before adding the fillers. So, I mean, can't get the cups any smaller, so. Now I did already check my my bin there, my little container out of from our first coat that we did, and that hasn't stiffened up to the point where I need it to be, so I'm good to go and mix this and start playing in some other spots. Just don't want to miss that window of being able to top coat, or hot coat it I should say. And if you can keep track of your popsicle sticks and your cups, for the day that you're doing all this stuff, you can reuse them. Just when everything starts getting dried out and whatnot, then it kind of becomes a bit of an issue, and I'll start fighting you. So we're close here already to kind of what we want. That's probably like a runny mayonnaise here right now, so we're gonna go thicker than that. We're looking for some peanut butter today, folks.
We're getting there. That's creamy peanut butter right there. I think I want to stiffen it up just a bit more though, because we are going to be underneath the boat. And there we go. That looks good right there. It's almost like a thick, heavy sugar icing, basically.
So there we go, we're on the clock with this now. So I'll get everything set up, and then you'll see some of the areas I'm going to be putting this on. So same idea here. These are spots that have been worn through the paint, through the primer, down to the hull. There's not a lot happening there, but I do want to put some of this stuff on here, and then I have a big section here underneath that I want to do as well. That's a little bit deeper than that, and that's just, you know, for some added security. Make sure we're not going to get any water and whatnot in there after this goes back into use, and we want to make sure it's structurally sound. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna keep an eye on our side here that we're doing, and I don't really know how well this is gonna show up, so it might or might not make the video, but we might try to give you an overview after the fact. Okay, so that took, I went a little bit farther than I was supposed to basically, but it was laying out really well, and as you can see, I'm almost done using all this up. So it's my first time working with this, so I'm hoping, I really am, that it's going to sand about the same as what the Total Fair would sand. If not, Monday is going to be a pain in my butt. But anyways, I'm just going to do a couple other edges back over here, and it's just off camera. And that's going to be it for using this. I'm not sure if I'm going to come back today with the total boat or not. We might leave that till Monday after we do a good sanding here. We'll see how I feel and see where we're at, I think. Definitely got a lot more coverage than I thought I was going to get with this, and even farther than what I thought I was going to go with this. So I'm going to finish up and we'll see what happens. So if we don't come back, hope you enjoyed this part of the video. And if you do, please hit the subscribe button. And this helps you out, or gives you a little bit of information. by all means hit the like button. Thank you in advance, and yeah, when we come back, we'll either be on fairing with the total boat, or it's gonna be Monday morning, and we're gonna be sanding, not my favorite thing, and doing some fairing. I'm also gonna come back, I'm gonna hot coat the side here. And again, guys, that's the same as what we were doing laying it up. This time, instead of going up to down, I'm gonna go side to side, or front to back, I guess. And other than that, that's it. I don't think there's any point in me showing you that. If it is something that you do want to know more about or want to see, let me know down in the comments section, and we'll see what we can do on a future project. So other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.